Hey everybody, hope you're well, and it's James here for the Part-Time Entrepreneur and Crypto Rookies, and today we're going to do the long overdue OneLedger ICO review as it kicks off tomorrow. I thought it's about time I bloody recorded it. So here we go. So what is it? It's a universal blockchain protocol enabling cross-ledger access through business modularization. Now again, when you read it, it's like, what the bloody hell is it? So I'm going to try and break down OneLedger in a fun example potentially. Obviously it's not in detail, we'll go through that throughout the presentation. However, hopefully it will just give you a flavour of what OneLedger is about. So some people might be familiar with this particular situation where you have the wife and the husband, they've gone to some counselling, and the reason for it is because they can't communicate. There's absolutely nothing they can do where they can interact and talk to each other and communicate. And it's a little bit like blockchain. So obviously your Bitcoin, your Litecoin can't directly talk to each other. So then you have OneLedger in the middle. Now OneLedger is taking all the data and the information from Bitcoin, all the things she's saying, he's horrible, he doesn't do this, he doesn't do that. She's taking all that information, so there's no stress on her because she's offloading all that information and she's acting like a side chain. And the same with the Litecoin. So he's saying she doesn't do anything around the house or whatever. Download that information onto OneLedger. Now OneLedger is able to communicate with all of the different blockchains, and it's like an intermediary. So the best way I can describe it is if you had some thread and you thread it through all the different blockchains, OneLedger is that one that will go through and be able to communicate. And what it can do, as a counsellor would do, is to try and harvest and get the best out of the blockchains, all the different people that are there at that time. This was the simplest way I could try and break it down in its simplest format, and obviously we'll go through some of the other detail later on, because some of the videos when I was doing my research as well were quite heavy on the tech side. So a lot of people will say that the scaling problem with Ethereum is one of the biggest issues at the moment, and potentially it could be, but I really think it's interoperability. That is the number one issue with blockchain at the moment, because there's all of these separate blockchains being built and nothing's really talking to each other. And OneLedger is really starting to look at this problem. There's also the fast cross-chain exchanges as well. Now, if you look at most technology now, it's all about speeding things up. And this is why life feels like it's going at 1,000 miles an hour, and why you have so much instant access to so much data, information and news. And we just want it to be faster and faster. We want it so instant. We forget that many years ago we were using courier pigeons to send messages. Now it's just an instant WhatsApp or whatever it is. And if you get a little disruption in your Wi-Fi, you kick off or whatever. So life is just moving at this fast pace. So we always want it faster, faster, faster. Next thing is the easy deployment of dApps. So this will, create adoption, because if things are easy to use, people will use it, because people don't really want to put the hard work and effort in sometimes to get things off the ground. So if they're easy you make it for people, the more likely they are to use it, or intuitive, shall we say. Then you've got the one identity across all chains. This is like the daddy key. So that key relates to you. So anything that happens on all the different blockchains, they've got their own sort of keys that links to that big daddy key that says, yeah, this is Dave or whoever. So it makes it nice and simple. So you can work on the different blockchains, but all of it feeds back to one central point. And also the easy adoption for businesses, because the big thing now is, I'm trying to talk to my company where I work about blockchain and stuff. And the amount of times I've had meetings cancelled because other things crop up that are more important. They don't see the value so much now. So I think once this becomes a lot easier, more people will adopt it. There'll be more news, there'll be more hype, more people want to get on the back of it, bigger businesses signing up. I've seen a big partnership today with McDonald's. There's loads of things that are going on which will create the hype, I suppose, and the easy adoption for businesses. And a lot of businesses want to do it. And McDonald's is really a forward-thinking business. They drive innovation forward because that's how they get the consistent year-on-year growth, which every business is after. So what you can do, if you were looking to create your own online business, for instance, let's say you want to compete with someone like Amazon, you could build your own business on OneLedger, harnessing the power of loads of different blockchains. Now, for instance, let's say for your supply chain, you want to use Wabi, for instance. You might be having like a small food business or whatever it is. Now, you also want to ship overseas, so you might use something like the Morpheus network. Now, you're a big fan of Litecoin because you think the price is going to go up, which I think it will. You use that particular payment system. Now, you can get different people to build those modules for you on the one ledger, but what happens is all the information will be put onto the one ledger chain, and you can harness the power of all of those different blockchains. Now, if you were just using one format or profile or whatever it was, you are limited to that one blockchain. However, one ledger really opens up the throttle in a sense, in terms of that you can, open your mind to all the different blockchains that you could use. And there's so many. It's going to be a bit like an add-on, really. It's going to be a little bit like something like WordPress is the best way to describe it. So you have sort of maybe a platform, which would be the protocol, obviously. And then you can go, oh, I like that, I want that on my website, and you can start building it. And it's going to be the same with one ledger, where you can go, oh, I like this, I like that, and you can start building your own business using all the different blockchains, which is pretty cool, if I say so myself. And all of that is run by this intelligence engine, which will make all of this work. So the consensus protocol will just help sync all the modules all together on the different blockchains. So really the example that we've just talked about, and all the chains will be updated at the same time as well. So that's pretty cool. Now, again, on the consensus side, you can pick which one you want to use. You can decide if you want proof of work, proof of stake, and that's all through the interface that these guys will provide. So then we have multi-platform dApp deployment. So really all this means is currently you have to build a dApp individually for each chain, where these guys will be able to put it on multiple chains at the same time, and also it can be in different languages as well. So that's really going to help speed things up, especially for businesses that really want to have an impact or grow and scale very, very quickly if they've got an aggressive, say, marketing plan, for instance. Next one is the modular business workflow. So all these different modules that you're building, they're gonna get to a point where it's going to be click and play, really, where you will just pick the elements that you want. Someone will have already built it, and we'll talk about how people get paid for that and how the token works as well. But it feels quite intuitive, very simple, and again, like I said, a little bit like WordPress. I think these things will get to that sort of stage where it will just be a plug in and play. Very, very simple and very, very easy to use. I also like the master key element as well. Just makes things very, very simple, very, very easy, and it all links back to you. If we look at the social media, Twitter, 3000 OK, Reddit, blah, 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 Medium. The real big one here is Telegram. A lot of people in the Telegram seen a lot of hype about this project. A lot of people have asked me to review this as well. So again, from a social media point of view, not massive across most platforms, but Telegram, it really seems to be taking off. If we look at the roadmap, there's loads of things happening, but really my attention is drawn to, okay, when is the product ready? All the bits in the middle, there's going to be challenges, there's going to be delays, there's going to be some stuff you can do faster, but when are you releasing the product? That is the most important thing for me. So when I look at this, it says 2019 plus. Again, I think that's clever. They've obviously, they've not given you a physical date of June 2019, because I know that some people would hold a gun against their head for that date. And then if it didn't launch on that exact date, no matter what the problems or issues or challenges were, they'd be kicking off in Telegram going, oh, you said this, you said that. So again, very smart move by these guys. Leave it open. It gives them time to really make sure this product is ready to go before it's launched. Obviously seeing a new partnership with Polymath, and as we go through this presentation, it will become very obvious that obviously one of the guys has become one of the advisors, and he's obviously coming across to support these guys. So the bit that you've all been waiting for, the tokenomics. Now, there's two key things here. The first one is that you need fair work, fair reward. So that's the biggest thing that will generate your network. Now, there's no key details in terms of what users will pay and what they'll get in reward. But the basic premise is that there are three key elements. One is users, so they will pay to use the network. Nodes, which obviously collect the network fees, and then developers that will pay to launch their obviously modules on the network, and obviously users can pay for those as well. So again, the ecosystem is there. It looks like it would work well. I just think what isn't very clear is what the work to reward ratio is, which would really give a sense of how good the tokenomics really are. So now we're going to have a look at the team. Obviously, you can join the Telegram group. You've got the white paper there that you can look at, and the website's fairly decent, to be fair. So here are their team and their advisors. Now, the first guy we've got is David Sayo, or Kayo, however you pronounce that. So let's click on him. As we can see here, they've been working on OneLedger for about a year now already. He's obviously not only just into crypto, but in the background, he's obviously a chairman of the Canada-China Blockchain Professional Association. Canada is very forward and progressive with blockchain, which is really great to see, and also the lead commerce consultant on Xerox for nearly 5 years. In other places, it says 9 months, 1 year, 2 year, 1 year. Most people know that I don't like to see short work histories, but as we can see, he's a consultant, so a lot of consultancy work, working for himself. So that short work history doesn't really apply in this situation. Next, we've got Alex Todd, a social entrepreneur developing a blockchain-enabled social society, founder and CEO of Trust2Pay. So this is interesting. So obviously this guy is familiar with starting his own business, and also this one is developing a blockchain-enabled social credit rating system for the rest of the world and outside of China. So the one thing that really sort of sticks out here is that actually these guys are working on several different things at the same time. Maybe something to just be mindful of, I suppose. And then if we have a look at some of his work history here, Chief Technology Officer, founding principal here, obviously a lot of stuff to do with dealing with risk and governance. So again, some great experience here in terms of what he brings to the table. And he's been a board member, managing consultant for different players such as IBM, Sabre as well. I mean, it's some good companies on here. So this is interesting. Quite like this guy actually. Seems to come with a lot of experience. Next one, Stefan Yang. So again, this is the smart contract developer, senior JavaScript, all the rest of it. If we look at a lot of the stuff that he's done, again, this short work history isn't something I'm a big fan of, but maybe he just struggles working for other people. IBM staff 3 years, SD lead Microsoft only 11 months, 2 years, 3 months, 3 years. So early in his career, he's got quite a bit of strong work history. Looked like he didn't really get on at Microsoft, and then went to IBM, quite liked it there, left, and then there's a couple of strings of projects where he doesn't really do more than a year, and then it looks like in 2015 he set up for himself. And then he's eventually got into OneLedger. So again, interesting history, varied experience across the board, a lot of consultancy roles for some big companies like Morgan Stanley. So again, some real strong experience. So next guy we got is Trevor Cavecchio. He's one of the advisors that sticks out for me. And again, if we just look at his work history to start off with, so student, university, usual sort of stuff. And then if we look at his work history, there's some good solid years of experience. 3 years, 6 years, maybe 7 years if you will call it, round it up, 2 years. Some real solid experience in terms of different businesses. And then he gets into investing, and then he goes and invests in Shapeshift, which is pretty cool to say the least. I'm sure we all wish that we'd all invested in Shapeshift. And then obviously he's got involved with many different projects, as we see here, until he's obviously launched his own ICO, which was Polymath, which was obviously, again, incredibly hyped, did incredibly well, and now he has partnered up with OneLedger quite recently in a news article that I only seen today, I think. So again, he's from Canada, very progressive country in terms of when it comes to blockchain technology. So then we have the ICO details. The first one is know your customer registration. That's 9th of May. Make sure you get signed up in time. And then we have the sale distribution. This really stuck out for me. When I started looking at the rest of the percentages of the pie, when I look at marketing and long-term partners, that is way too big in my eyes. That should be maybe 5-10% maximum. And actually there should be more in the public distribution sale. So not a red flag, but really sort of got me concerned on this one. But then you can flip this around the other way. There'd be less tokens in the marketplace. Therefore, if there's greater demand, the price will rocket, and then you can sell and make a nice profit. So there's lots of different ways that you can think about and look at this. But I think there should be more tokens going into the sale distribution myself. So as always, guys, I just got to do a little disclaimer. So this isn't financial or professional advice. These are my own personal views from my own personal research. And as always, please do as much research as you possibly can before you invest in any ICO. However, I can give you this one piece of advice. If you don't want to end up like the couple on the very first slide, when you invest, just don't tell the missus or how much either. It's probably better that way. So there's 100 million OLT. You'll love that tip. 100 million OLT, soft cap 4 million, hard cap 15 million. Now this is decent. People are sending me projects where it's 50 million hard cap and it's a nothing project. So this is great to see that they literally just want what they need to get the project off and running, which is great. And then again, against all of those different areas that we've seen before, advisors, team, community, that there are vesting periods in place. So again, we're not going to see hopefully the big dump. The only dump that I think we'll see is where, because there's such a low supply in the marketplace, that there'll be great demand for the token, the price will rise, then there'll be a big sell-off, and then the price will drop again. So just be really mindful of that, because it's what we're seeing constantly with the ICOs. So what do I see as some of the cons? So what do I see as some of the cons? So there's already some competition out there in block lidar. We see things that are coming to the marketplace, these new innovations, and then they become fashionable. And then you could ask the question, well, how many more will come along? And then everybody's constantly trying to innovate on what the last person did. So, over the next 6 months, how many more of these types of projects will we see? Because this really does fix a particular issue in the marketplace. So that would be my question. It's a bit of an outsider in terms of a con, but it is one that I'm very mindful of, because I do see people just coming in and copying stuff all the time and then trying to innovate on it. Next one is we have to wait at least 8 months to see a minimum viable product that is out there that you can physically use. And the other thing is, I think this is overhyped to a certain extent. Like, I'm hearing everybody talking about this, so I think a lot of people will try and get in. A lot of people will be disappointed. And then when it launches on the exchange, a lot of people will try and buy it. The price will rocket, and then all of a sudden the price will collapse as everybody sells, making huge profits on this. Only my personal opinion there, but that's the general vibe that I'm getting. In terms of pros, I think this fixes a core issue and also provides a real viable solution for businesses. Now, also, there's obviously a low supply, which is also very attractive. There is a reasonable hard cap and soft cap. I think this is, there's a lot of projects out there trying to raise crazy amounts of money. I think these guys could probably, with the hype that's around this, they could probably easily raise 50 million, but they're not. And that's great to see, because they're doing things in the right way. There's obviously a vesting commitment, so that the big amount of tokens, we talked about nearly 30% of the tokens that aren't going to just get dumped. However, of that 2-year period, a lot of those tokens will make their way back into the marketplace as those guys take profit. And also, the biggest thing is it's harnessing the power of blockchain. So really trying to take the best of everything and pull it together so that we can use blockchain as a viable solution for lots of different business solutions. And at the same time, making it easy so everybody can engage with blockchain and we get some actual huge adoption. I've given this 7.8 out of 10. I really do like this project. I think that, personally, my strategy would be one or two things. I'm either going to try to get in on the ICO, or I'll wait for the hype and then I'll buy on the dump. I may end up paying more than the ICO price or something, but I think that would be my strategy for this one, because I think this is going to be quite busy, a lot of hype around it. I think a lot of people are going to be trying to get in on this one. As always, guys, thank you for tuning in. Please like, comment and share. You can follow me on social media or join one of my 2 Facebook groups where you can find out how you can get great discounts on ICOs, but also how you can be involved with our monthly $5,000 crypto giveaway. I'm feeling